Welcome to another episode of Me, My Wife, and Sports. I'm your host, Fitz, with my lovely co-host, Darci.
Hello and happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to everyone. And I would like to congratulate Darci. She actually won.
See, you didn't even have to say actually.
She won the Fantasy League trophy and ring. All on her own.
How else would I have won it? Okay. See, he just taken away from it, y'all. But yes, as posted on our Me, My Wife, and Sports Facebook page, yes. After 16 years of being the commissioner in my own fantasy league, I finally won. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And so that makes it a real fantasy league because this was the first time that I actually won.
I won twice, by the way. Just saying.
And it was sweet, y'all. It was real sweet.
Yes. Well,
shout outs to my second place winner, No Game, No Life, who was a previous winner. And then our third place winner was All the Way Up. And I think he's won second or third before, but he has never won. So I understand you're winning second and third, but you'll get it eventually.
Now she can say it.
I can say that now. Yes. We have a good time in our fantasy league. But yeah, it was sweet. It was sweet.
It was.
Sweet.
And with that said, moving right into football. First, congratulate U of M, University of Michigan, for hiring Kyle Winningham to a 5-year deal. He used to coach now at Utah. So
yeah, we talked about that last time, though.
No, we didn't. Hopefully he can turn things around for Michigan. I think Michigan State also got a new coach, Pat Fitzgerald. So congrats to them. But one gripe I do have, and this, I know we're in January of 2026 now, but the Heisman Trophy winner, Mendoza, well-deserved, and I look forward to seeing him at the next level. But Pavia, who was a finalist, he was just a sore loser when it boils down to it. And you can tell it even carried over into his bowl game, which they lost. But he had some comments about the folks who were voting for the Heisman Trophy. And basically, he told them they got it wrong. But he later apologized to Mendoza for his outburst and all that.
We kind of late. All that's kind of old news now because since then, Mendoza has come out and won the Rose Bowl.
Right. But it's still something that needs to be said.
Yes, it needs to be said, but I hate to let the Pavia's bad behavior outshine Mendoza winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying is that don't let his bad behavior outshine the good. It's always the 20% that get 80% of the attention.
Yep. And as you know, the college football playoffs are still going strong, and Indiana is still alive and surviving.
Yeah, right.
And I think they are playing, I'm not sure who they're playing.
As a result of the latest wins?
Yeah.
Let's see what the playoff bracket will look like now.
Because they end up beating, who was it, Alabama?
Yeah, they beat the pants off Alabama, didn't they?
Did.
It was not pretty at all.
So I think they'll play the winner between Georgia and Miami, if I'm not mistaken. And I think Miami, the U of M, which is Michigan, but Miami should give Indiana a run for their money if they make it to the final.
So now we got Miami playing Ole Miss.
Right.
And Indiana's going to play Oregon.
Mm.
Because Miami beat Georgia.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Georgia's out.
And I think it's going to be Miami and Indiana. That's my prediction.
Hopefully it'll be, I don't know, because I like Ole Miss. I think the better game of...
Why do you like Ole Miss?
Like that commercial? I think the better game of the two of those is going to be the Miami and Ole Miss game.
Yeah.
And so...
I agree.
I like Trinidad Chambliss. I like his story.
Mm-hmm.
I just like his story. Ole Miss is coming off of Lane Kifford leaving them. So they kind of they're the underdog. And they're coming in, even though they're ranked 6, they're really coming in as the underdog. They're coming in with the story, the coach left, and it's almost like the Cinderella type thing where, they get...
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Left at the dance, and that, I can't get my words to come together here, but it's that...
Let's put it this way. You're rooting for Ole Miss.
Well, yeah, I said that,
Okay.
But they've been in the news a lot here lately about the coach leaving. And then there was something that I heard about the old coach was trying to reach back, and there was a bunch of scuttle out there about the fact that even though now he's at LSU, he was trying to reach back to Ole Miss, and they were upset about that. And they were saying, well, he shouldn't be doing that. And,
Right.
You left, you should just leave them alone. Don't be trying to offer any pointers or any suggestions. Just leave them alone now. And so I just heard...
Was a current coach taking their advice?
I think that's who he was reaching back to.
Oh, and he was saying, move on.
And, well... They got some whiff that he was still trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I wonder if it was somebody who coached for him or coached with him, rather.
They didn't know if...
Coach.
This is what was being talked about in the news. They didn't know if this was motivation for the team, how it was affecting the team.
Gotcha.
And so was it motivation for the team? Was it having a negative effect on the team? And so this is what the analysts and sports people were talking about. And so it was like, when I heard about it, it was happening real time. So I didn't get to go back and do a lot of follow-up on it. But
well, more to come on that.
Yeah, more to come on that. But that's the whole thing about Ole Miss. And then the fact that they were able to upset Georgia. Nobody expected that coming in. It was a come from behind win for them.
Right.
And I just kind of like that underdog kind of...
All underdogs need somebody to root for.
Yeah, I mean, even though, again, they're the favorite, everybody's going to say they should beat Miami, but...
What is Miami ranked?
10.
10, and they're 6?
6, yeah.
That's close enough.
That's too close, yeah. A 6 and 10 ranking, anybody would say, anybody can win that game. So, whereas Oregon and Indiana, that's 1 and 5.
Right.
So, I don't know. Indiana, they just really look convincingly like a championship team. I think anybody who goes up against them is going to have their hands full at the end of the day. But getting there will be fun to watch. So
definitely. And hopefully Indiana, and in your case, Ole Miss, will be in the championship.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one.
I'm thinking Miami because
in Indiana.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a good one too.
I do too.
It would be great for Carson Beck. He's had a hard time getting to where he is, and if at the end of the day he's in the championship game, I think it'll be good for him too.
Oh yeah, whoever's in that championship game, their NIL market just went up.
What a way to segue into. I don't know if we plan to talk about it or not.
We can talk about it, whatever you want.
But what were we just talking about with the NIL upstairs?
Yeah, with the one individual for football entered the portal, and he's a former football player for Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. I can't think of his name offhand, but entered the portal, and he was looking at Texas Tech and LSU, and LSU is really pushing to grab him by having a third party, better way to put it, a third party offer an NIL deal to him. I think it's like $2 million or 1 point something million. It's like, really? Really? But that's what college sports is getting to. And the individual name slips my mind. Let me see. I'm trying to think who he was. But he was a quarterback.
For LSU.
Cincinnati, LSU was trying to recruit him. I don't know if he's taken the LSU deal or not, because they said it's roughly like 1/3 of college football players in the transfer portal.
What part of that involved the NIL piece?
Well, the NIL piece was the third party, who was some company, Flyby something. They were offering him an NIL deal if he was basically come to LSU. And like I said, it was about $1 million or so.
So I don't understand why, if this is how NIL deals are working for college athletes, and I'll just group them all together, not singling out any particular sport.
I just think they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but let's just group it all together, because we don't know. And we don't know like they don't know, because athletes are trying to figure it out. Agents are trying to figure it out. NCAA is trying to figure it out.
They're definitely trying to figure it out.
The only people, I guess, who have any kind of a hold on this is the people who can afford to pay the NIL,
right.
Who got the money to pay this. But at the end of the day, if you are in a position to be a college athlete and have some value on your own NIL, name, image, and likeness,
right,
and can put a dollar value on that, why wouldn't you consider that and try to make the most of that while you can?
Right.
If you are Carson Beck or even, let's say...
well, I'm going to give you a good example.
Like,
Damon Williams, the quarterback for Washington College.
Okay.
And he is trying to get into the portal because he sees a better deal. The deal he has with Washington, he signed a deal with Washington where he gets revenue sharing. So whatever monies the school is making off of revenue, he gets a piece of it.
Okay, so what's better than that?
Well, LSU is throwing their hat in the ring so they can even offer him bigger money.
Okay.
And I'm just using him as one example. Like the other guy from Cincinnati, who was the quarterback, he's being recruited by LSU as well. But this just shows how much money is involved in by letting these guys go in the portal at the collegiate level. We might as well say it's all pro.
But you know what, then, and this is what I'm saying, now, this is where these athletes, in whatever their sport is,
right,
have to be smart. Because if your sport is, let's say, football, because that's what I have the most knowledge of right now, let's just say football, then you, as a college football player with the transfer portal, you have more control of your career as a football player in college than you're ever going to have in your life. Because once you go pro, you give up all your rights and all your control of your career. Hear me when I say that. And I'm sure that any professional football player that's listening to this will tell you she's telling you the truth. The Players Association is going to tell you she's telling you the truth. Your agent's going to say she's telling you the truth. You are in as much control as you're ever going to be as a college player with that portal. So get smart with it. Use it to your advantage for as long as you can. Don't rush to go into that pro life.
Right.
Because now you can control where you're going. You can control who you playing for. And you really can control how much money you're going to make.
Well, to give you a good example of that.
So, I mean, do it.
Oh, I totally agree. Give you a good example. There was a player, and there's no names or anything, but in the article, they're saying that the player was looking for an NIL deal coming out of high school going to college. And the Tennessee's Volunteer Club and the recruit, and this is for the University of Tennessee, and the recruit, sort of was trying to work out a deal. And this is just speculation, what they have listed on what the deal was. They were offering the recruit $85,000 worth of stipends,
Mm-hmm.
a paid apartment in Knoxville, and a $25,000 to pay the agent fees.
Now, is that a year?
Yep.
Okay, so every year that he was at college there.
But supposedly it was signed by the students or the athlete grandmother and not by the athlete. So it's a sticking point.
So the guardian accepted it and not the student.
Right. And so I don't know how that plays out. Does the student have to sign it? Because I know, I had to sign my letter of intent when I went, but I don't remember my mother signing anything either. But she might have. It's been so long ago.
Yeah, and the root. Yeah, well, that is different.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they saying? They saying that he's bound to that agreement?
No, they were just giving an example on what is happening with the NIL across the board, how schools are competing.
Well, the bottom line, though, is...
Because basically, in a nutshell, because all this was, in this article I was reading, was talking about the profit sharing.
Right.
And it's a limit on how much they can do the profit sharing, the schools. And Tennessee's competitors were saying Tennessee was circumventing the rules by offering all this other stuff.
Oh, okay, okay.
To make up for that extra money he could have gotten maybe if they raised the cap on profit sharing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, this is my point. Knowing that when you enter that NFL draft, you give up all your rights, because when you enter that draft, your rookie contract is going to be probably a quarter of your NIL money. And
you got to go to the team and say you're going to.
And you're not going to pick your employee. And if you're entering that NFL draft, Fernando Mendoza, the best player out there, number one draft pick, maybe, you're going to the worst team in the NFL.
So he can make it better.
And but know that you're going to be the best player from the NCAA going to the worst team in the NFL. Whereas if you decide to play another year, maybe you can go to the next best team in the NCAA and get a little bit more money.
Right.
And you have control of that. Because once you enter the NFL, who are the 31 owners.
Not for long.
Of the NFL, that's who the NFL is, the 31 owners and Green Bay. They control where you go, who you play for, and how much you make. So this is what they're not telling you, that Auntie Darcy is telling y'all.
And you heard it first here on Me, My Wife, and Sports.
So note, I hope your parents who have real serious aspiring athletes, please get educated on these processes.
Right.
You know, the world we're living in is so much that they're not going to tell you. But if you got kids that got NIL value, keep them in college as long as you can.
That's it.
Because that's where they have the control. And as crazy as it is, that's where they have control. Get your degree, because the draft is going to always be there. They can't get players no other kind of way.
No. Well,
they ain't getting players no other kind of way. The draft ain't going nowhere.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because that segues into another issue that we were discussing earlier about basketball and how the colleges are getting foreign players who are playing, and they've pretty much been playing pro overseas probably since they were 20 or even younger.
Let's just call them out.
And now they're like, 28, 27 playing in the NCAA. But I'm not sure on the age, because I'm not sure what the age limit is to play, whether it is an age limit. I know in the past it used to be, but I don't know if they changed that. And now it's just how many years have you done any college years playing? And once you've done your 4 or 5, you can't play anymore in college. That's, I'm assuming.
Well, the problem is the NCAA here recently ruled a player from Baylor who was drafted by the Detroit Pistons in the 2023 NBA draft, ruled him eligible to play for Baylor University.
And this was a foreigner, though, right?
And yes, he is European. And they said that apparently the rules only apply to U.S. citizens. But that part has never apparently been made clear to any of the coaches in the NCAA basketball arena because they thought it applied to all people.
So if I understand this correctly, then I just want to make sure I got it. It was a foreign national player who had been playing or who was drafted by the Detroit Pistons but never played for them.
Right.
And went through the whole process with the draft, didn't pull his name at the last minute or nothing.
Right.
And then decided, I want to go play college ball. And so a college recruited him.
Right.
Baylor.
Yes.
And now he's going to play there, even though he's been playing overseas in a professional manner and then got drafted by Detroit. I think he was with a club team over in Europe. But now he's able to play college ball because he's a foreigner and the NCAA rules does not apply to foreigners, just Americans, which is stupid. It should apply to the school and the body
exactly
under the school that controls all that.
That's correct.
Not the person's nationality.
Right. Exactly.
But hey, I'm sure it's a learning process and everything's going to change and morph to something that new that we haven't seen.
The coaches have just been going
bonkers.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe that's
bonkers. We need a sound effect for bonkers.
Right.
But coaches Dan Hurley said the NCAA needs a commissioner, and I want y'all to know I am available for that position. Call me. I'm available. I can be reached at memywife&sports@yahoo.com.
But that's funny.
John Calipari, he's like, Calipari. He was like, that's why we playing with...
Did you say Tyler Perry?
No.
Calipari. There you go.
It was my Italian coming out.
I noticed.
But he was very upset. He was like, that's why we playing with these 27-year-old players now and da-da-da-da-da, because there's no rules.
Well,
and he gets very animated when he talks.
Well, that's one of the reasons why in the Olympics, we quit using college players to play against other countries because they had grown men playing. So we went with our NBA.
Exactly. So, they said Izzo, what's his first name? From Michigan State?
Mike Izzo? I don't know.
I don't know.
I know it's Izzo.
God, I can see his face. His last name is Izzo.
Yeah.
They said that he didn't want to even make a comment. Like, he was just so upset and disgusted by the whole situation. Like, he just didn't want to comment about that situation. He felt like it was something that the NCAA should have handled and addressed. And so he just didn't make a comment. But when they talked to Scott Drew, the head coach, he said he knew the rule. And because he knew the rule, then he was going to make it work for him.
Yeah, that's what any coach would do. Just no different than trying to recruit.
It's like, ain't my fault y'all didn't know the rules.
Right.
Read a regulation.
That's it.
That's what we used to always say. In the military, read the regs.
Yeah.
Ain't my fault you didn't read the regs.
Well, I'm sure those two coaches probably went to their staff and said, why didn't y'all tell me?
Exactly, right?
I'm the face. Y'all do the research.
Now, I tell you what, if I had been in somebody's back office, we would have known that. We would have knew that. Because I read the regulations backwards and forwards.
Right.
But that is kind of, for it to be one way, everybody thought it was one way for so long.
Exactly.
And then he had somebody who was a regulation geek. Somebody found that and said, hey, coach, did you know this? And he was like, wow, that's been buried like that for so long and nobody knew it.
Right.
And he just tested it. He said, well, we're going to be the ones to try this and see if it'll really fly like that. And they probably had the paralegal students at Baylor look into it first.
Right.
To see,
sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Before he went out and recruited that guy.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure he covered all his loopholes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, he tested it that way. But somebody did some legal work on that, and it's going to come out in a brief somewhere. But hey, I don't fault him for that.
Oh, I don't either.
But it seems like, he could have handled that differently as well and been like, is this something that we really want to do as an organization?
Right.
I'm sure that's kind of how the other coaches might feel. Like, maybe you should have brought that to us. But clearly...
Hey, they trying to win.
Yeah, like...
Because these coaches' jobs are
and maybe
on the
that's
line,
why
literally.
Maybe that's why Dan Hurley said we need a commissioner, because maybe he's saying that somebody should be over all of those regulations,
right.
And there should be some place where...
Which I don't understand. I thought that's the NCAA job.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like, what is the NCAA then? If it's not...
Because they made sure that everybody abide by the rules.
It must not be like... If they don't have like a Roger Goodell... And then he has a staff, like all those people that we know who work for the NFL, then they ultimately report to Roger Goodell. But
right.
The NCAA doesn't have a commissioner.
But it's got to be a president of the NCAA, because it's just not a body that everybody's doing their own little thing. I'm sure it's a president.
Is it a board?
It could be a board too.
Yeah, we're going to have to look it up. Yeah, because if it's
yeah.
like a board, it might just be one of them things where they only get together when there is like a big issue.
Right.
And everybody got real jobs that they doing unless something comes up.
Yeah.
And that's like something comes up and it's time to do March Madness. And okay, we all get together and they know that's the one thing that they going to all get together on. Because I think that's the only time that we ever looked to see what the NCAA was.
Yeah.
And that's the only time... Yeah.
Right. We'll have to do some research and look more into that. Now, unfortunately, our time has come to an end. And before we leave, though, I wanted to do a sports fact that I haven't done in a while. So I want to bring the new year in with one. Bossa ball. Have you ever heard of that?
What?
Bossa ball.
No.
BOSSA
No.
BALL. Well, it's a mix of volleyball, soccer, gymnastics, and capoeira. Don't ask me what that is. I don't know. It is played on an inflatable court with the trampoline in the middle.
I think we've seen that.
I think I have too, because people flipping.
Say that again.
It's played on an inflatable court with a trampoline in the middle.
And they like bouncing. It's a little ball?
I don't know.
I thought you had a picture of it.
No, I don't. So that's my little known sports.
Spell it again.
BOSSABALL.
BOSS.
ABALL.
BOSSAB.
A.
Okay.
L. Spelling is fundamental.
Oh, it's got a net too.
Yeah, because it's a combination of volleyball, soccer.
No, that's not what I thought it was.
Gymnastics.
Oh, that's really weird. No, that's not what I thought it was.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank all our listeners for tuning in. And if you want to drop us a comment or just shoot the breeze, you can reach us at Me, My Wife, and Sports at yahoo.com. Me, My Wife, and Sports at yahoo.com. Or you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram and also YouTube. Or listen to the episodes on your favorite platform. With that said, Darci, any parting words for you?
No, Happy New Year. And remember, your mate is a reflection of you.